are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is March 15th, 2026. You'll have to excuse, we've had like a whole windstorm all day today. Which I don't mind. I work third shift, so give me just a second. Let me take this pill. I actually don't mind because I sleep during the day. And to me, like windy weather, stormy weather, rainy weather, gloomy weather, it all helps me sleep better, you know? So I don't mind at all. So I worked tonight, but I got up early, so I figured I'd do a podcast. I am off Tuesday, so I will be probably most likely going to the movies. Jason, the actor that works over at Movie Tavern, the one that I interviewed, go check out that interview. He's like, dude, if next time you come to the movies, hit me up. We're playing Undertone, which I'm going to get into that in a second. Come up, let me know, and I'll try to hook you up with free tickets. So Tuesday I might be getting in for free, which I was already going to go anyways, because it's $6 movie tickets that on Tuesdays, which is fucking awesome. So honestly, if I keep getting Tuesdays off, I'm probably gonna be going to the movies a lot this year. You know, which is awesome. So I want to talk about Undertone a little bit. I do have a conspiracy cinema segment. If you go under, I believe it's actually titled Conspiracy Cinema, or it might be movie reviews as the playlist. What I do is I watch conspiracy theory movies, like conspiracy movies, paranormal movies, alien movies, which, speak of the devil, we're going to be talking about a movie on this episode today, because it's been literally, the whole conspiracy community has been talking about this movie that's coming out, and I can see why, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But anyways, this movie Undertone, I hadn't seen the trailer yet. I watched the trailer just a minute ago. The whole concept is me to a T. I love it. Like it's like a movie that was like, you ever just come across a movie and it's like, oh, this movie was made for me, you know? And I'm not being egotistical. It's just like one of those things. It's like, this is my movie, man. So it's about a podcaster. Hence why I was like, oh shit, this is made for me. It's made by A24, which here lately, man, me and Sammy have like fell in love with that company because we're kind of done with Hollywood, mainstream Hollywood. Because honestly, dude, Hollywood is evil. It's disgusting. I mean, we all know what goes on with the Epstein files and shit. It seems like everyone in Hollywood, except for like Keanu Reeves, is a creep, you know? And I've even heard people talk shit about Keanu, and I'm like, bro, leave Keanu alone. He's like the only good one we got. Anyways, though, him and like Mel Gibson. But yeah, A24, they're fucking awesome. They put out, honestly, and I'm not trying to be mean, but they put out kind of like generic horror movies, but the concepts they come up with are awesome. Like, we watched one, it was called, like, Night Swim. It was, like, about, it sounds stupid, but when you actually watch the movie, it's cool. Like, a haunted swimming pool. There was one, Imaginary, which is about like an imaginary friend who turns out it's actually a demon, tries to like kill this family. Just like simple but interesting concepts that no one has covered yet. So yeah, apparently this chick, she's like a podcaster, and I don't know, she starts hearing like demon voices coming through the airwaves and shit. So I don't know, it'll be cool. It reminds me of this old movie way back in the day with Michael Keaton, where I think he was like either a radio broadcaster or, yeah, I think he was a radio broadcaster, and he started getting like demonic voices through the airwaves or something. Same concept. It's just back then it was talk radio, and now it's podcasting, you know? Which, I mean, it's the exact same thing. I've told people for 1,000 years, podcasting is just simply what talk radio used to be. So, expect a review on that, because I probably most likely will be reviewing that for the Conspiracy Cinema series that I got going on. And by the way, this will be in this that playlist, the Conspiracy Cinema series. So, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will send you a sticker through snail mail. Yeah, it helps support the channel, helps pay for pens, papers, flash drives, helps me pay my bills. And yes, I have a full-time job, so I'm not a grifter. So, the whole community has been talking about this movie that's coming out. It's called Disclosure Day. And we all know that Hollywood, well, if you look at its earliest roots, I mean, Laurel Canyon, its connections with the military, its connections with the government in general, CIA. It's essentially, I would say, I would go as far as to say it's a form of Operation Mockingbird. Also, there's the occult angle of it. If you believe that these elites, these Sabbatean Frankists, they believe in lesser magic, which would be essentially, if I go up to you and I go, hey, I'm going to poke you in the eyeball, and then you just laugh at me, and then I poke you in the eyeball and you go, ow, what the fuck? I go, well, I told you I was going to do it. You didn't stop me. You didn't run away. You didn't put your hand up. I have no karmic repercussion. I'm not saying that that's how the world works, the spiritual world, but that's how they believe it works. And they tell us these things through movies. But everyone's like, dude, the timing on this is impeccable. So it's a Spielberg movie. And if you know anything about Isaac Cappy, we'll have to do a whole episode on Isaac Cappy. If you know anything about him, he called out Spielberg years ago, probably over a decade ago now. It's so crazy how fast time flies. But about over a decade, I'd say Isaac Cappy was calling out Spielberg. And there's a whole rabbit hole with Spielberg and the girl from Poltergeist, the little girl. I barely dabbled in it like years ago. I made like a small short video. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on it. But there's a whole rabbit hole with Spielberg. There's a whole story with Macaulay Culkin connected with Spielberg. Well, people think it's Spielberg. Anyways, though. So, we already know that it's a big club and we're not in it. So, my wife made a good point of like, I was telling her about this Disclosure Day. She was watching the trailer this morning and I was like, she's like, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually going to report on it tonight. Oddly enough. I was like, the whole community's freaking out because it's coming out at the exact same times that all these alien files are getting disclosed. And she's like, that's weird though. You got to think it takes like 3 or 4 years, sometimes 5 years to make a movie, to film it. Meaning Spielberg would have had to have known like 4 years in advance, hey, we're going to do alien disclosure, this year, 2026. So, just saying, it's weird. But let's get into it. So, Disclosure Day. Everything we know so far about Steven Spielberg's mysterious alien movie. From the mysterious plot to the confirmed cast, here's what we know about Disclosure Day. No one really knows what Disclosure Day is about. Well, I can tell you from the title, it seems like it's going to be about alien disclosure. And basically, from the gist of it, from what I've seen with the trailer and what I've heard through the grapevine, it is literally what the title is, Disclosure Day. It shows the day of disclosure. Aliens come down and I guess invade. And it basically shows this is what would happen with the world, like economic collapse, military on the streets, like lockdowns, martial law. Basically, it's showing what would happen if aliens invaded. Now, if you would have spoke to me over a decade ago when I was an ancient astronaut theorist, well, I still am. I just don't believe so much in the physical ancient astronaut part. Well, the astronaut part. Shouldn't say the ancient part. I believe they're more interdimensional beings. And I'm even open to the idea that the Greys are specifically time travelers of us from the future. When we have no sex organs and we don't use our bodies, so we're just tiny little bodies and huge heads, you know. I know it sounds crazy, but wrap your head around it. But yeah, if you would have talked to me over a decade ago, I would have been like, yeah, I believe one day aliens are going to invade. Whether it be good or bad, you know, contact will be made. But now, after like learning and studying about Project Bluebeam, and the precursor, I can't remember the project name, but Kennedy was talking about doing it on Cuba with like a hologram of Jesus coming back and blasting audio of like Jesus's voice and telling the Cubans, put down your guns and all this shit. Crazy shit, and go look it up. It's declassified CIA documents. I mean, they were fucking around with psychological warfare, or at least planning to. Now if this happens, I would just think it's Bluebeam. You know? Honestly, I would think the same thing. If Jesus actually came back, which I'm highly doubtful of, I'm not a Christian, I'm a witch, I would think it's Bluebeam. I would look up in the sky and see Jesus and go, it's Bluebeam. And just go back in my house. And start boarding up windows. That's why I don't believe that Bible verse of every knee shall bow. I'm like, I don't think so, because most of us are going to think it's just Bluebeam and go down to our basements and our bunkers, you know. So, the acclaimed director's mysterious new UFO movie was first announced in April 2024 per Variety magazine. So it was first announced 2 years ago, so I believe this movie comes out sometime this year too. I may be wrong, but the project would be based on Spielberg's original idea with David Coep. I have no clue who that guy is. Set to write the screenplay. A year and a half later, that hasn't changed. Even the first teaser trailer released on December 16th revealed almost nothing about the Universal Picture movie. Despite the lack of information, fans do know that Emily Blunt, I have no clue who she is, stars as an unnamed Kansas City meteorologist, and she's remaining just as tight-lipped as the film's director, whom she described as her movie dad. Ugh. That's weird. So calling Spielberg her movie dad. I don't know. Knowing what I know and what I've heard, the allegations against Spielberg, it just makes me feel gross. In a November 2025 episode of Entertainment Weekly's The Awardist podcast, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I've never heard of The Awardist. It's probably like one of those like shit podcasts that gets propped up in the algorithms, you know, kind of like how Miss Obama has a podcast, and I think even Hillary Clinton had a podcast for a little bit, and I'm like, what psycho is listening to that, you know? It was very goosebumpy when he called, the actress shared. He kind of just said, "We want you to play this part." And I cried as I got in the car. I mean, I was just so moved. Very goosebumps. You got goosebumps when Spielberg called. That might not be the goosebumps that you think it's for, you know? It might be sensing darkness. The devil just called. Blunt added that through filming with Spielberg, though filming with Spielberg was awesome, she hasn't seen anything of the movie itself, which is set to release in theaters on June 12th, 2026. Honestly, if I was an actor, I would kind of not want to see how it looks until the actual day of the premiere. Like, usually they do private screenings, like, they'll have like a little theater set up, like either they'll rent out a room in an actual theater, or they'll have like their own like private theater in like Hollywood somewhere. And what they usually do is like they'll have a screening where the whole cast, you know, is like there, and they all get to experience the movie in full final form, all together, and get to see what they created, which I would prefer that. Like, I think if I was on a movie set, I'd be like, I don't want to see any of the fucking film until it's completely done. And I just want to experience, like, I want to experience it like a normal non-actor would experience a brand new movie, you know, in a theater. I don't know, that's just me. It sounds weird, but I think that's how I would do it. You know, if they were playing it on the set, I'd be like, I don't want to see it, you know? I want to see the final form. I'm just going to be here, I'm going to act, and I'll see it when it's done. Here's everything to know about Disclosure Day, including the plot, cast, and release date. What is Disclosure Day about? The official logline for the sci-fi thriller asked fans, if you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? So they're already amping up the fear-mongering of, like, getting you spooked. And this is, as far as I know, like a sci-fi alien invasion movie. As far as I know, it's not like, hey, we come in peace. It's all negative, because God knows that if... That's another thing that pisses me off, is people are like, oh, if there was alien invasion, it would be bad. And I'm like... So, I disagree with that, because I think if you reach that high of technology, you're probably more of a utopian race rather than a dystopian race, if that makes sense. And I think in a weird way, the only way I can compare it to is almost like racism, of like looking at an entire race of people and going, oh, they're a destructive, disgusting race of people. Well, that's kind of that's racist, you know, that's essentially what racism is. I mean, I would think the same thing with aliens. Like, I wouldn't clump every alien species. If there was, let's just pretend that, you know, we're on a spinning ball going through space and galaxies and shit. I wouldn't lump up every single species and race of aliens, that they're all maleficent. Is that the word? I would think there would be some good races out there. I wouldn't clump them all up as just evil. Because I don't know why people are so scared to, like, honestly, fence sit or take a middle ground and be like, hey, there's gray area. It's not, everything's not black and white. Because you see that in the ufology community. You got people who are like, oh, they would all be nice. Like, I think David Greer is one who says that they would all be nice. It would only be a positive interaction with aliens. And then you have others who are like, they're fallen angels, they're demons, or they're reptilians, they're evil aliens. They're just gonna come here, steal our resources, kill us all, enslave us. There's like very few people who are like, you know, it could be both, right? There's a possibility that it could be an evil race or a good race that comes and visits us, you know. I don't know. You guys know me, I always think of the gray area. That's just me, though. And it gets on a lot of people's nerves. People like white and black. blue or red, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. They can't stand people who are middle ground like me, moderate. I always try to think of the gray area in anything. That's why honestly my channel's not as big as it is. Now, if I went super hard one way or the other and said they're fallen angels and I'm a Christian and I'm a conservative, then my channel would blow up. It's the truth. Though the exact plot details have been kept under wraps, the synopsis concluded by teasing what is to come. Quote, this summer, the truth belongs to 7 billion people. We are coming close to ... Disclosure Day. So who's in the cast of Disclosure Day? In addition to Blunt, several other notable actors joined the cast of Disclosure Day. Colin Firth, I've heard that name before. Coleman Domingo, never heard of him. Eve Hewson, never heard of her. Have all signed on to Disclosure Day. Josh O'Connor's character, so we got an Irishman, never heard of him though, has yet to be revealed, but appears to be a protagonist in favor of revealing a large truth to the public, according to the trailer. So he's going to probably be the dude who does the actual disclosure. I'm assuming he's playing someone who has a like high-ranking position in government. I'm assuming. The History of Sound star told Deadline in May 2025 that working with Spielberg was a quote-unquote dream. When asked to describe the film, O'Connor said, it's like old school Spielberg. Which, by the way, I know, and I'm going to piss off a lot of conspiracy theorists, because for some reason our community, I love our community, but sometimes I despise it, how toxic it is. And they think just because you like someone's art, that you like the person. Yes, I've heard the allegations of it against Spielberg. None of them have been proven factual. Also, I'm one of those rare people who can separate the art from the artist. Marilyn Manson. I love Manson's music. And anytime I bring up Manson's, like a Manson song, or I'm playing Manson, there's always someone who's like, I don't see how you like him. He's such a scumbag. And I'm like, so? What? What do you mean? I'm like, I can like his music and not like him as a person. Steven Tyler. I love Aerosmith. I love the band Aerosmith. He's a creep. In my opinion, Steven Tyler is a fucking creep. Possibly a PDF file. Allegedly. Possibly. Still love his music. You know who was a good painter? Hitler. Oops. I said it. Uh-oh. Oh no. He was a good fucking painter. Have you seen his paintings? They're beautiful. I can't paint like that. Doesn't mean I like him, you know. You can like someone's art. Like Spielberg, especially as a conspiracy theorist, I don't see how you can't like Spielberg's movies. I mean, Jurassic Park, we got that shit going on right now. I literally have a playlist called Jurassic Park of all the weird Jurassic Park type shit that scientists are doing right now as we speak. Making woolly mouse, bringing back like the woolly mammoth, like weird crazy shit like that. Fucking Indiana Jones. As a conspiracy theorist, I love those movies. The Holy Grail, they're searching for the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant. One of them, actually, Speak of the Devil, is like an ancient astronaut one. There's like a council of aliens, the crystal skulls. Like, he's literally a conspiracy theorist. I mean, well, I think E.T. was based off of supposedly a real case, and the alien's name was E.B. Go look into that. William Cooper covered it years ago when he was into ufology. It's crazy. When asked to describe the film, O'Connor said it's like an old school Spielberg, and pointed to the Oscar-winning director's iconic movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's a good one, especially if you're into aliens. E.T., Speak of the Devil. Speak of the devil. A lot of people believe aliens are fallen angels. Get it? Speak of the devil. I didn't plan on that one, but that was pretty good. He added that he didn't have to audition for his role in Disclosure Day. So damn, he just got the part. He didn't even audition. Lucky bastard. He told me he didn't have a script, but he told me the story of the movie and he said, "Would you like to do it?" The actor said. And I sort of feigned, "Let me think about it." But obviously, it was kind of straightforward. He was the most special person. He comes up to you, he whispers in your ear like an excited child about an idea, a thought, and it's truly inspiring. Who is directing Disclosure Day? Well, Spielberg. Spielberg is the director of Disclosure Day, marking his return to the alien genre since 2005 film War of the Worlds. I remember that one. It had Tom Cruise. I don't remember if it did good in the box office or not, but I liked it. But then again, though, I was a kid. So, I mean, everything is awesome when you're a kid. Like, I don't know how it would hold up now. It's H.G. Wells, and if you all know anything about H.G. Wells, he was the predictive programming back then, before we had cinema and movies, and they could predictive program through screens. There's also a whole story of like War of the Worlds. They played it over the radio. We'll have to do a whole episode on War of the Worlds. It's fucking crazy. They played it over the radio, and some people didn't catch the beginning of it. That says like, "Hey, this is a play, you know, we're doing, our broadcasting tonight is going to be a play. We're going to be doing it like, I think it was like a play or like the audiobook version of War of the Worlds." So some people tuned in halfway through and they thought it was an actual alien invasion going on, and they were going outside and shooting water towers with shotguns, and apparently like the whole town flipped the fuck out. Like, a lot of people did. So we'll have to do a whole episode on it, because it's one of those weird kind of alien stories, but not really. But it's a precursor to kind of Bluebeam in a way too, because it shows you how the public would react with a fake alien invasion. And back then, all it was just a radio broadcast. So imagine how it would be now with like holograms and shit. Though space and all its unknowns have been a common theme in the filmmaker's canon, Spielberg said he'd have to have his own close encounter to be a true believer. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think if there are aliens that Spielberg has seen one? Do you think he's gotten to go to Area 51, you know? But from what he's saying here, he's never had a close encounter. So that's interesting. "I don't believe we are alone in the universe," Spielberg shared during a interview with Stephen Colbert. "I think it's mathematically impossible that we are the only intelligent species in the cosmos. I think that's totally impossible." He added at the same time, "It also seems impossible that anybody would visit us from 400 million light years from here, except in the movies." Like I said, guys, I'm a geocentrist. I believe we are in an enclosed system. That doesn't mean that I don't think things can come in and out. I just don't think us as a human species has the ability to leave. You can call it the dome, you can call it the firmament, you can call it the Van Allen radiation belt. I don't think we've been to the moon. I do think there is satellites up there, like the ISS. I believe the ISS is up there. I just don't think anyone's on it. I think when they're repairing it, I think they're filming it in a blue pool that's out in Texas. I believe it's Texas. I think when they show us like the ISS footage of them floating around on the inside, I think what it is they've proven the way they filmed Apollo 13 was essentially they take a plane and they make it do dives, and it causes zero gravity for the passengers inside, and that's how they filmed the movie. They literally were in zero gravity. They weren't. Cats are fighting out there. They weren't in lower Earth orbit, but they were in a plane, and they decked out the plane to make it look like the inside of the ISS, and we're dipping the plane. So that would be an insane way to film too, by the way. But I don't know. I'm kind of agnostic about space because I believe in astronomy as far as like telescopes and shit. I know that we can look at that shit through telescopes. I mean, me and you aren't allowed to use the high-powered ones, but I don't know. I'm very agnostic when it comes to space. I don't know what to believe on it. But let me know what you guys think about this disclosure day in the comments below. I know the whole community has been freaking out and talking about it, so I wanted to talk about it. Take a little break from Epstein. We talked aliens last episode too, so I ain't gonna lie. I've dabbled in the alien files a little bit, and I didn't even plan to. I hope no one thinks I'm distracting you. That I'm what do they call it? A limited hangout or disinfo agent. You know, someone commented that in my comment section one time that I was controlled opposition. You're controlled opposition. I said, controlled by who? I said, I live in a trailer. I work at a grocery store making $15 an hour. I drive a beat up old Cadillac. Like, who's controlling me? I would love to. Where's my CIA check? Someone's going to clip that. Someone who doesn't have a sense of humor. But love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And y'all have a good day.